Hi, everyone. I'm James Garbutt,
And I'm Denny Dumas.
and this is the Garbutt Dumas Real Estate Podcast.
This is for all those stats lovers out there, Jamie.
We're going deep today.
This is a really fun one, actually, to do some research for. So today we just want to kind of give an overview of Greater Vancouver real estate throughout the last 7-ish years. So comparing price points from 2016, the peak of the foreign investment when the foreign buyer tax first came in, then through COVID, kind of to what is known as the peak of our Greater Vancouver real estate market, early 2022, and then comparing to today's values. And we'll throw in a few different timelines as well to kind of show the swing. So like the peak of March 2022, for example, compared to the end of 2022 as interest rates started climbing, which if we look back was probably the bottom because price points in a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of product types have kind of bounced back pretty quickly through the first half of 2023, even though rates continue to go up. Where should we start? Okay,
we should
start.
probably acknowledge the points in history that we want to focus on here.
Sure.
So we thought 2016, that was kind of, there was a hot surge in the market then, a lot of talk about foreign buyers at that time, particularly like certain parts of Burnaby, Vancouver West, Richmond were just on fire, just blowing up. Crazy sale prices happened, and we use that as a data point because there was a little bit of a bubble there where the market was at a peak, and then want to compare how in some areas of Vancouver, today are similar to those prices. In some areas are completely well above those prices. So 2016 and then 2020, and then like you said, the peak that we've seen last year.
And I think even the idea for this podcast, you mentioned a couple of days ago, wanting to explore Greater Vancouver neighborhoods and where there's opportunity, meaning what hasn't seen a significant growth since, that crazy market that we saw in 2016. And then what areas maybe will be slower in the next 5 to 10 years because they saw such a crazy growth pattern over the last 5-6 years. So I think that is kind of where this podcast is coming from. So as we share some different neighborhoods and product types, we'll maybe share our thoughts and predictions on where that could go in the next decade based on how it's performed in the last 7 or 8 years.
I like it.
So I wanted to start with something that I knew had a crazy run through COVID. So that is Maple Ridge single family homes. Maple Ridge single family homes, the median sale price in 2016. So this is the second half of 2016. I'm taking data from August to the end of December of 2016. The median sale price for a Maple Ridge single family home, $754,000. Fast forward to the peak of our market, quote unquote, the peak, because in a lot of product types today it might be more expensive, but the peak in early 2022, median single family home price, 1.525. So that is almost exactly double in 5 years, 6 years. Fast forward to the low point, looking backwards, of the end of 2022. Median sale price in Maple Ridge, 1.197. So it was a 22% drop in a 9-month period.
Wow.
Keep in mind, remember, we've done podcasts on this too, but as COVID hit, the majority of home buyers and sellers, they were moving out of the city for more space. A lot of people working from home. We didn't really know how long this COVID thing was going to last and how long lockdowns are going to last and working from home. So a lot of people were moving out of the city, out of Vancouver, out of Burnaby to get more space. And they were going to areas like Maple Ridge, like Langley, like Abbotsford, like Chilliwack. Maple Ridge saw this crazy spike and it came back down pretty quickly as interest rates rose, but down 22% through 2022, which is crazy.
And I mean, that's a sample of the sales that happened last year, right?
Yes.
It may not be, it's probably close to the true number, but it may not be exact.
Yep.
And like I think the biggest thing that happened from the start of COVID to the end is at the beginning of COVID, there was a big discount for the further away from the city you got. And that discount, the further out, it kind of just diminished. The discount for being further out didn't become much of a discount.
Totally.
Maple Ridge, just looking at the real estate board stats, Maple Ridge is one of the strongest performing markets for single family homes in the last decade. Second place to Squamish. In the last decade, the home price index, so the typical benchmark house in that market, went up 160 or 170.4% in 10 years. And it was also one of the markets that came off a little bit more than others in the last year. So in the last year, it's come down 12.4%. And but it's also on a resurgence. It's bounced back a little bit. So in the last 12 months, it's down 12. The prices today are down 12.4% from where they were 12 months ago, but they're up 6.4% from where they were in December from your data. Which kind of, if I do 6.4 plus 12.4, that's 19 almost, which is close to your 21.
Pretty close.
So yeah, Maple Ridge. What do you think the future of Maple Ridge? Do you expect it to be in line with the market, outperform the market, underperform the market?
I don't know if this is going to be a popular opinion, but my guess is that areas closer to the city see more activity and a bigger increase in the next 5 years than the outskirts do. I think the outskirts have seen a huge jump. And even if you look at the median sale price in the last few months, from April 1st to today, the median sale price in Maple Ridge is 1.354. So that has come back up about $150,000 comparatively to the bottom of 2022.
So I guess you think like Maple Ridge versus, say, Vancouver East. Over the next 5 years, if you're to bet, Vancouver East single family will outperform Maple Ridge single family.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with that. I also think both markets could outperform the market.
Totally.
Yeah, those are two pretty good markets for different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Maple Ridge is going to get much less desirable, but I don't think they're going to, I do think that discount for being further out will start showing its colors a bit more. So East Van will be more expensive relative to it.
Talking about Maple Ridge, I wanted to quickly mention townhomes because Maple Ridge in the areas that I looked was the highest performer, was the best performer. So you look at 2016, the median sale price of a townhouse in Maple Ridge, $402,000. And that peaked at the end of at the beginning of 2022 to March 2022. The average median sale price of a townhouse in Maple Ridge, $929.
So what was 2016?
402.
402 to 929. Wow.
That's like it's like 150% almost.
Yeah, that's a lot. And we're comparing 2016. Now Maple Ridge wasn't the markets that got a lot of benefits from that market, but 2016 prices compared to 2014 prices, there was a big jump there. So if you went back to 2014, it would be even lower, probably in the threes,
I do think Maple Ridge saw the 2016-17 jump happen later.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I think it kind of like moved its way out into the valley and into Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge. But Vancouver saw a big jump from 2014 to 16. And then it was like the Tri-Cities and saw that jump like late 2016, early 2017. And Maple Ridge and Langley saw it like into 2017.
The trickle down.
Mm-hmm.
And the real estate board stats, Maple Ridge was up there. Townhouses were up there as one of the better performing markets, but they were not the best. They were Whistler, Squamish, and Sunshine Coast beat them out.
Interesting.
So basically Sea to Sky or the coast. But in terms of all the other markets in the lower mainland, Maple Ridge was one of the strongest performing markets. In the last decade, it went up. A townhouse in Maple Ridge went up 176.8%.
There you go.
All right, what's the next market, Denny?
On to you.
How about me? My turn?
Sure.
Okay, my turn. Let's go with New Westminster. New Westminster houses at the beginning or at the peak of 2016. Now, I say New West. I meant North Vancouver.
Okay.
A V versus a W. North Vancouver. North Vancouver. In 2016, the median price for a detached home in North Van was at $1.712 million. This is around, call it this time of 2016. In 2020, it backtracked. It went from 1712 to 1635. So the very beginning of COVID, slight backtrack. And then in today's market, which is actually, I would say, in line with last spring for North Vancouver detached homes, 2.2 million. So from 2016 to today, it's up 28.5%. 2016 was 1.712. Today is 2.2 million. 2.2 million, 1975, 1,200 or 2,500 square foot, 2-level home, some updates, nice quiet street, probably a 7,000 square foot lot. That's a $2.2 million house in most of North Van right now.
Interesting, hey? Like North Van is such a desirable area and it has been for such a long time, but you look at 2016 to today and the price has gone up, what is that, 30-ish%?
Yeah.
Ish?
Yeah.
Versus you look at Maple Ridge, 2016 single family, median sale price $754, today $1.354. That is almost double.
Oh yeah. And I have Squamish next, which is just as which is even more extreme. But like North Vancouver is to me, it's one of the markets that's, I'd say, I mean, the real estate board home price index says it's down 4% in the last 12 months. But when I see some examples of it maybe being down 4%. I see some examples where houses that are selling today are getting the same price they would have last spring. Most markets are 5 to 10, maybe 15% off last spring's prices, last March of 2022's prices. But North Vancouver, I think, is one of the markets that's right up with those spring prices. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, it's spring, March 2022 was a crazy, wild market. And a lot of the sale prices were arguably lucky sale prices. It's hard to recreate some of those sale prices when you don't have 12 offers. So there was some luck there, but North Van detached homes are pretty much right in line with the peak. Squamish was one of the most extreme markets I could see. 2016, a few pioneers were moving out there. It was still an amazing place to live, but far under the radar for house prices. So the house in 2016, detached home prices, $885,500. At the beginning of COVID, it went up to 1.175, and today, 1,597,500. That is for the median house price in Squamish. It's up 80% since 2016. So Squamish was clearly 885 2016, very low price point, to nearly 1.6 in 2023 today. Squamish is probably one of the highest performing markets anywhere in BC. And it sometimes gets beat out by Whistler, but Squamish is a hotspot. And I think 100 years from now, it's going to be one of the nicest cities to live in when you look at that downtown plan. And right now, they speak to the outdoor enthusiasts, but in 100 years, I think they're going to speak to everybody. It's a pretty beautiful place. On the less extreme, I'm going to go to Yaletown. Ooh. So Squamish went up 80% since 2016. Yaletown underperformed the market since 2016. 2016, I just isolated 1-bedrooms in Yaletown. I thought that would be a better sample to go from. So a 1-bedroom in Yaletown in 2016.
I isolated 2-bedrooms, so it'll be interesting to compare them.
Okay.
Yeah.
1-bedroom in Yaletown 2016 was $619.
Okay.
At the very start of COVID, early COVID, 2020, it was $698. So it went up $80,000. Well, that's about 12-13%. Oh no, my math is off. Something like that. And then 2023, $750. So from 7 years ago, 2016, $619 to today, $750. It's a 21.1% increase. I do feel a lot of that increase. Like there was some dark moments for downtown condos, and I don't think this data shows all of it. You know, even though 2020, there was periods in 2020 where there was just oversaturation of 1-bedrooms in certain buildings that would normally have one listing or two, had like 8 to 10. And there were moments where just not many people were buying them. So there, even though my data shows, I think the data from 2016 today being up 21% is pretty accurate. Maybe the range is 18 to 25% or something like that. But there was moments in COVID where it felt like there was no one buying. And I think that was one of the most opportunistic markets during the early days of COVID. Today, they're coming back. When you look at the next 5 years, I think a one bedroom in Yaletown will probably outperform the condo market. Maybe not outperform townhouses and detached homes in other markets, but in terms of condos, my guess is condos in Yaletown are going to go up. I don't think that that what we're seeing sell is not even close to the replacement value. The cost of a new one bedroom in Yaletown is, my guess, 1,400 a foot and up when you consider land value. Uh, and yeah, I just don't. I could see a trend to the urban centers and Yaletown getting the benefits of that.
Even if you look at the new buildings in like newer buildings in Yaletown, it's going to be hard to find new construction if you're looking at a pre-sale that's going to be less than $2,000 a foot.
Yeah.
Right?
I said 1,400, and they're not selling that.
Well, purchase price. Yeah, you were talking about, I think, cost.
You're
price,
right. A lot of the newer developments are getting real out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 bedrooms are quite interesting, and this is kind of like my dark horse of where I think over the next decade this could see a real run in prices, because the last 7 years has been pretty disappointing, to be honest. Yaletown is a area where there's a lot of 20 to 30-year-old buildings. So you get larger floor plans. You get these like 1,000 to 1,400 square foot 2-bedroom units. So the 2-bedroom median sale price in 2016, $1.15 million. Today, $1.2 million.
Oh.
So it's a 4.3% increase over the last 7 years. Yaletown saw the jump between 2014 and 16. So if you go back to 2014, the median sale price for a 2-bedroom in Yaletown was $807. So from 2014 to 2016, it went from $807 to $1.15. But the last 7 years has only gone from $1.15 to $1.2.
That's not a lot of gain.
No.
Well behind inflation. The cost of those structures have gone up in value compared. This is, there's an argument there that picking up a few Yaletown condos or, Vancouver condos today will be a good investment. I mean, it may not make a cash flow today, but will go up in value likely. Like, I think would you guess that a 2-bedroom in Yaletown or a 1-bedroom, doesn't matter, where do you think that will perform compared to condos across Lower Mainland? Do you think it'll outperform the market, perform in line with the market, underperform the market over the next 5 years?
I think it'll slightly outperform. I think it'll beat areas like Brentwood, who is building a ton of new stuff, and it's all new and small. Yaletown is unique that it's a little bit older, large, and you're on the water. I think that is forever going to be desirable.
Yeah.
Being downtown on the water with the best restaurants in the city. Yes, in the last few years, we've seen people moving away from that, but I think it's only a matter of time until that's the most desirable place in the city again.
We have banned foreign buyers. There's a lot of outside investment that's not coming to the city, that if they ever lift that wall and open the floodgates, Yaletown and Vancouver proper is going to get the most rewards from that. And we saw signs of it in 2016. And then they put that 15% tax that turned into a 20% tax that turned into a ban. So it's only locals now. What else do you see, Denny? What do you have on your...
My other low performer, Kerrisdale single family.
Oh.
Kerrisdale single family, median sale price in 2016, $3.558. Median sale price at the peak of the market, which was March 2022, $3.538. Same price, essentially. And today, median sale price, $3.856. So in that 7 years, it's gone up 8.3%. Again, Kerrisdale is similar to Yaletown that saw the big...
Did you say 3 point... What was the 2016 price? It was
3.5.
And then what was the today price?
3.85.
Okay, I think their percentage lift is off there. Like, I think it's 0.6%, not 6% or whatever you said. It's a very small... I think you said...
It's small.
It's a very tiny... That's not much of a lift. Or maybe I'm off.
3.85 divided by...
We're doing some math here, folks, for those that are listening.
Yeah, 8%.
Oh, that's 8%. That's an 8% gain?
Yeah. Oh, that's $300,000, right? $300K on 3.5 million.
Yeah, I didn't see the numbers. I thought you were in the same. Ignore me. Ignore me.
Glad we got that clarified. But Kerrisdale, similar to Yaletown, that saw the big jump from 2014 to 16. So the 2014 median sale price, 2.41. and in 2016, 3.55. That's where they saw the big jump, and whatever that is, that's like a 60% increase in 2 years.
Do you recall some shadow flipping headlines back then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when they jump that much. Yeah, and what I mean by shadow flipping, there was just some agents doing some things they shouldn't have been doing, where when you buy a house at, say, $2.5 million and you have a 6-month or 5-month closing and it goes up $600,000 in that time, you end up with basically making a lot of money without owning a home. And back then, people could assign that contract to someone else and keep that lift without even buying the house. Now we've changed the paperwork, and that can't be done, or it can't be done without disclosing it. But that was a wild headline back then, and it only happens in outrageously climbing markets.
Totally.
Yeah.
I bet if you look at West Vancouver, we mentioned it as something that hasn't performed super well in the last 7 years. I bet if you look at 2014 to 2016, they saw a big jump there that has kind of subsided in the last 7 years.
Yeah, I guess just on West Van, Squamish, Sunshine Coast, Whistler, they were some of the highest performing markets over the last decade. I think, let's call it, Squamish and Whistler had north of 200% gains in prices in a lot of property types over the last decade. And I think West Van's number was 50 or 60% gain. So they really, they climbed early, and they haven't been, the popular spot to be lately. But there is an argument, like, I don't know how many people want to live out by Caulfield or Horseshoe Bay. There's a bit of a commute there.
Yeah.
But I could see Ambleside and the areas that are a little more connected start going on more of a run now. And I think right now the market is pretty hot out there. It's just, it's not what it used to be in terms of outperforming the rest of the market. I don't know if we will see a world where West Van will outperform the market in the next 5 to 10 years. But if it did, my guess, it would be detached homes in maybe the next 5 years. But I'd be surprised if it outperforms the market. I just don't think there's that many wealthy people.
I know. I'll just glaze over a few other areas. So New West single family from 2016 to today, up 67%. New West 2-bedroom condos from 2016 to today, up 56%. Langley and Maple Ridge is what saw the big gain. So Maple Ridge was up 80%. So Langley single family from 2016 to today, up 82%. Langley townhomes up 92% from 2016 to today.
Yeah. The value of a townhouse. We didn't do this one, but I bet the value of an old townhouse
totally
has gone up considerably as well. As 10 years ago, 7 years ago, new was more on the criteria of most townhome buyers, and today it's more about space.
Totally.
And age isn't as important. It's been a volatile market. I think all in all, the notes of this is the last 7 years have been wild. And there's been some areas like Maple Ridge, Squamish, that have completely outperformed the market. That you've made a ton of money if you bought in those areas. A Yaletown condo, not so much, but in the next 5 to 10 years, there is an argument to say that the Yaletown condo might make a comeback.
If you were to predict the next 5 to 10 years, what do you think is the Maple Ridge and Squamish of the next 5 to 10 years? Do you go farther out? Is it somewhere on the island? Is it Pemberton?
Oh,
or is it Yaletown condos?
I mean, if I were going for pure percentage gain, I'd have to go to an area that's cheaper. That, like, I'd be going to Nanaimo or Courtney Comox or mid up island.
Yeah.
That would be my guess if we're opening up the area. But if the guess was in the lower mainland, you know what? I'm just going to say East Van. I don't know. Even though we've seen some great moments from these suburb communities, I'm going to bet on urbanization in the next 5 years, and I'm going to say East Van will be the top performing market in the next 5.
All right, I like it.
You can add to your thoughts, or are we going to call it a?
I like East Van. I still think Poco. Is super undervalued comparatively to its neighbor of Coquitlam. The house price in Poco is 25% less for the exact same house that you get in Coquitlam. And arguably, in a lot of Poco comparatively to a lot of Coquitlam, is better to commute from.
Yeah. Highway access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poco is a very progressive municipality that has a lot of development going on, a lot more amenities coming in, a lot more businesses coming in. And I think people start seeing that in the next decade.
Well, I definitely think the data is going to show housing prices getting higher because more newer homes are being built out there at a higher price point.
Yep.
But you're also just talking about a new house, a 2020 built home today. In 5 years, that 2020 built home will still be outperforming the market.
I think so.
Yeah, Poco's a good bet. I agree. Let's call it at that.